today I have a special video. This is what the box looks like. Whoa, the lighting! I play a lot of games with the iPhone 7. That is a pet peeve of mine. People throw these, right? So then we open up the box. It's actually pretty good.
Voiceover on. Springboard.
No, I don't want voiceover on. Hey guys, it's Gabriel. Welcome back to my channel. I have officially been in Korea for 1 year. Our contracts ended September 25th. Myself and some of my other EPIK friends were given the opportunity to sign a 5-month extension. At the end of the 5 months, this current school year will have ended. And then from there, hopefully, if my school offers me to sign another year contract, I will 100% be signing it. However, that does mean that my total time spent in Korea will have been 2.5 years instead of just 2 years. My friends are probably freaking out listening to this, but if I did stay, I would see pretty much all of the students that I originally started with when I came here. I will have seen them graduate. I feel like that would be the ideal way of closing out this Korean English teaching chapter in my life. Right now I'm talking about the future, but this is about being in Korea for 1 year. Maybe I should split this into questions, I don't know. I have learned not enough Korean, but I have learned enough Korean, if that makes sense. In the beginning, one thing that I really struggled with was getting the students to respond to me. I was asking a lot of commanding things in English, like, okay, repeat after me, or all right, let's start reading this, here we go. Just the rhythm of the class just wasn't working. So after really studying my co-teachers, I kind of realized I need to pick up the Korean signals for how they're getting the students to repeat after them. 따라하세요. 따라하세요 means repeat after me. I like to sort of figure out what's the question that the students sort of need to know with the new dialogue and the new expressions. I like to write the question very big on the board, and then I'll say 따라하세요 and I'll read the statement, and then they'll repeat after me. Other times when I need the students to speak or practice with each other, but they're like presenting in front of the class, they'll be very shy. But if you use this phrase 시작, which means let's start or begin, they'll start reading or they'll start doing whatever dialogue they're supposed to do. So those are two. Oh, 하지마. Hajima is a phrase that means stop, and this is one of the ones that I grew up with. I just look at a student if they're talking or if they're about to throw something, whatever distractions are going on in the classroom, like I can just point to and be like, Hajima, or don't do that, stop that. Yeah, so definitely find your Korean magic words, whatever your co-teachers use with your students, and just sort of adapt that into your teaching life, and it will help you so much. In Korea, you start learning English when you're in 3rd grade. It was my first time meeting a lot of these students. One student in particular, his name is Taeyang. He would throw things at other students. He would throw things at me. We have a water bottle to like spray the board whenever we need to clean it. He would like spray other students. He would like run around the classroom. He would always bring his toys, his Yu-Gi-Oh cards. He would never bring his textbook. For like the last 6 months, I was just dealing with this. Guys, I have envisioned, like this sounds so bad, but I've envisioned like snapping this kid's neck. Me and Sunny used to have this inside joke where whenever a student was bad, it's like, you know? And then I heard his story. Miss Bae told me Taeyang moved to the school last year. In the middle of the semester, a bunch of like negative rumors followed him. He only lives with his mom, and his mom doesn't really give him that much attention, and that's why he acts out in school. And when I heard that story, I was like, oh, he's just like crying out for help. And I grew this sympathy for him. But at the same time, like, I know he's not the only one going through stuff at home. The most frustrating thing for me is that my smartest 3rd graders are in that same class with him, and because of him, I was constantly like not being able to fully teach a whole lesson. So I was dealing with that for 6 months. We had summer camp, which was great. It went very well. Taeyang did not apply to go to summer camp, and I remember because Sunny had to teach 3rd graders with me, so she was like, did Taeyang apply? And I was like, no. And she was like, oh, you've been blessed. And I was like, I know. And then the new school year started, and so I was like, okay, I need to get mentally prepared. There was a part of me that was like really hoping like maybe Taeyang has changed during the summer, and maybe he's like kind of grown a little bit. I have my first 3rd grade class. It was so horrible. Miss Bae kicked him out into the hallway, which didn't even work. He started running around. He would open the sliding doors, run through the classroom, go back out into the hallway, slam the sliding doors, and then he started playing with the windows, and he would like open the window and climb into the classroom and then climb back out of the classroom. Miss Bae just kind of gave up on it. And the students, they would laugh, and I'm just like staring at him like, oh my gosh. So I had it. This was the first day of semester 2, and I was like, I am not going going to go through another 6 months with this kid acting like this. So I told Miss Bay, I was like, how about we talk to his homeroom teacher? All the Korean that I learned within the last year was like put into this note. Sunny told me that I should just write it in English and then send it to the teacher, and the teacher will contact Miss Bay, and then Miss Bay will translate and figure out all that stuff. But I was like, no, I need to say this from my own experience and from my own words. So I told her exactly how I felt. I was like, you know, if you have the time, please have a talk with him, and I hope that the rest of the semester can go well. I returned back to class the next week. We have our very first class since I wrote that message. Taeyang is late. He's the only student missing. He comes maybe about 5 minutes in. I was initially worried. I was like, oh my gosh, he's about to run up in here and be like, but he comes in, doesn't say anything to anybody, sits down very peacefully and quietly in his chair. He had his book and he had like a deck of cards. The whole class was focused on me, and I was like, what is going on? When I was asking them to do shadowing and stuff, Taeyang was actually participating, and when I told them to turn to a certain page, he actually turned to that page. Granted, he wasn't paying attention the entire time. This is a huge improvement. Because he was more focused, all the other students were like, okay, like we have to be even better, you know? Halfway through the class, their homeroom teacher actually came to check up on the students, and I really appreciated that. And then that day we happened to have a speaking activity. Normally that's complete chaos with third graders. This time it went so well. Taeyang was also participating. The whole lesson was about, do you like this certain type of food? He even came to me and he asked me, do you like pizza? And I was like, yes, I like pizza. I was like, I wanted to cry. It was a complete 180. I've had 3 classes with them and they have consistently been good, especially Taeyang. Also, during the first semester, because he would often forget his book, I would let him borrow mine. He would never say thank you and always give me a hard time about actually giving it back. But this semester, whenever he does forget his book, I still let him borrow it. And now at the very end, he comes up to me and he not only gives me the book and says thank you, but he like slightly bows, which is like super respectful. He's like, 감사합니다, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I wish I knew what this teacher said to him, because it completely has changed him, and I am so thankful now. Whenever I felt anything negative about being here or wishing I was home with my family or my friends or anything like that, I always sort of turn my focus to my students. They're the reason why I'm here, other than saving money, but they're the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, and they motivate me so much. It hits me in moments where I think about my kids that are gonna graduate. Like my students that are 6th graders now this year, this is my last semester with them, and when I think about that, it's like those are the moments where it really hits me. You want to be a good influence on them, and maybe you're not the best English teacher, but maybe you're the funniest teacher that they've known, or maybe you're the kindest teacher that they've known, or maybe you're the teacher that smiled at them the most in their lives thus far, and for those reasons maybe they'll remember you. That's sort of like the end goal, right? To leave some sort of lasting impression that will benefit the kids, and hopefully they've learned English from you. But you know, yeah, that's what's helped me a lot. I don't like to think about it too much because it almost feels like how I feel about my friends and my family, but at least I know I'm going to go back to them. But with these kids, it's like, I don't know. Once I leave Korea, am I ever really gonna come back and see them? Like, oh, that breaks my heart. Yeah, so I've been here for 1 year and it's been really amazing thus far. Definitely a roller coaster ride for sure. This experience so far is something I wouldn't trade for the world at all, and I do feel like it was like the perfect time to do this in my life. When I think back on how everything is sort of played out with my being in Korea for 1 year, it's like I know every step of the way God was like watching over me, especially in the beginning. I was so uncomfortable and I didn't know what was going on, who was saying what. When I went to orientation, so many things could have went wrong, but I know like God gave me the perfect foundation for me to have an amazing first year in Korea. There's no reason why I should have a place that's so close to the metro, students that even though they're considered a low-level school and a poor school or whatever, that are still really charismatic, really smart. They do talk a lot, but these students are improving, and I have co-teachers that are so great. Granted, we've had issues, nothing is perfect, but Sunny was so good to me when I first came here. It was just completely unlike any other co-teacher and foreign teacher relationship that I've heard of. I work really well with Miss Bay. Like, she lets me do my thing and we give each other our space, and at the same time we also collaborate really well. So I'm just really thankful. Like, I feel like everything just kind of fell into the right place. I hope he still watches over me if I'm here a second year. Don't let the earthquake swallow me up. There's talks of possibly my cousin coming to visit maybe in November, and then another good friend of mine for sure coming in December, which is gonna be really cool. Oh, not December, my bad, January. Let me get the dates right. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Definitely be sure to subscribe. It helps me out so much. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Zeph678. Be yourself, love yourself, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, bye. There's nothing more than I would love. There's nothing more that I would love than to. What? Sometimes I feel like I'm not really looking like at the camera. I'm looking at the glare, but I don't know if you guys can tell. Gosh, the video took forever. Ew, it's 6:47. For the products, but I've never seen anyone ever put this on their stuff. So if you have any good ideas of where to put this, then, you know, let me know. And then there's a book that says Welcome to iPhone. It tells you how to use it, 3D touch and all that. Cool. Then we have the phone. Oh, it looks so beautiful. What if I was like, whoosh?